My wife loves gossip. If I got juicy news, she wants to hear about it. If I'm like, what do you think about like ethics? Like, like, do you think this is ethical or whatever? And she'll like tune me out halfway. All right, well, did you hear about this person? She's like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of ethical, I got some gossip. Somebody being unethical.
Exactly.
Welcome to Waiting to Dry, everybody. Episode 50.
Boom, 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 boom.
Sorry, guys. No soundboard today. Yeah. We'll make do with what we got here.
That's kind of your opinion, man. Or whatever.
Hell yeah. So, my name is Sergio Lopez.
I'm Josh Lawyer.
And, we've done it for a year now, pretty much. Just about.
This is our Merry Christmas episode.
Yeah. We are going to annoy you to make up for the lack of soundboard.
Yeah. Or entertain you. You be the whatever. The
judge, yeah.
Sure, that's a word. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. We're so good at this.
Hell yeah. 1 year and we still suck at talking.
Yeah. I still say and a whole lot.
I know. Yeah. Whenever I listen to the episodes, it still drives me crazy. The word like is every time I listen back to it and say the word like, my head does like a mini explosion. Does like a mini explosion.
Yeah. Does it like annoy you a lot?
Yeah, it does like.
But you don't even listen back to the episodes anymore, do you?
No. Unless Unless
there's something you want to try and remember, like, oh, what were we talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or if exactly. I guess someone mentioned something and I think, oh, what were they talking about that I kind of wanted to think about a little bit longer or check out. You know, someone drops a name, I'll check out. But other than that, I don't do much listening back. I lived it.
I know that. I mean, I listen back because I go through and have to be all meticulous about my show notes. So that's pretty much the reason I listen back. But it's also like for the same reason I go back and like, oh yeah, that's that little nugget that I remember that I want to hold on to.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I should just start carrying a notepad instead, so I can write it down during the show and not have to listen back to it. But yeah,
what is it? You just like hate listening back to your own voice?
Yeah, I think when you listen back, well, I mean, I think everyone for the most part hates listening back to themselves talk.
Right.
And one of the big reasons is that this is a free-flowing conversation, so we don't get to think that long about our opinions.
I know.
And sometimes, things get thrown at us, and it's on the moment, what is my opinion at that point? And my opinion might not necessarily be that if I put any thought to it, but, it's one of those, like I have a buddy, I've talked about him before at work, that we talk about politics.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's really nice to talk to him because I should probably off this fucking fan.
Oh.
Quick pause, quick edit. Talking about...
Edit.
I just don't know if that, because it keeps, clicking. I don't know if it's just going to make that little click.
Oh, that click? Oh, okay.
I didn't know if that was going to pick up and drive me nuts. All right. Well, it wouldn't drive me nuts, but...
Well, now that you don't listen back, it's not going to drive you nuts.
It might drive me nuts. Once I noticed it, I was like, oh, that's going to drive me nuts.
Right.
But yeah, there's this guy I work with that we talk about politics, and it's nice because we both kind of, he's a conservative and I lean liberal.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we're not like, our feelings don't get hurt. You know, we're not so committed to where I'm going to like be like, you're fucking racist or something like that. Yeah. And he's not going to say something like, I'm a hippie, whatever, you know, like I'm a
snowflake.
Yeah. Snowflake. You know, we both respect each other, and even like opinions we strongly believe in that are contradicting each other. Mm-hmm. We don't go at it with the mindset that we're trying to prove each other wrong. I'm just kind of trying to hear his perspective and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But you know, he'll bring up a topic that I'm not even aware of that's going on. He's like, "Oh, what do you think about that?" I'm like, I literally don't know any facts about it. Right. And then he'll tell me, and then I'm like, well, if I had to make an opinion right now on it, then this is my opinion. But that could change if other details, like if I look it up and...
Right, exactly.
You know, and that's kind of how this show is. It's like we might talk about something, and I might just just based off of the knowledge I have of that topic at this moment, my opinion is this. But I don't necessarily say that, but that's exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. So if I listen back to an episode and I say something, I'm like, oh, that's so stupid. Or like, yeah, things like that.
But I see.
It's whatever. Yeah. I don't give a fuck, really. It gets cringy sometimes. I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. Or
right.
But
that takes, I don't know. It takes a certain type of, I don't know if you call it courage or something that I don't seem to have, because I always need to like give myself a little bit of time, even in the moment, to think of what I want to say. But the problem is a podcast. The time just keeps going. It can't be like 10 seconds of dead air while I try and formulate something.
Yeah.
And everyone else just will talk over it anyway.
Exactly. This is what I think goes through your head when we're talking. This is the reenactment is, yeah, you know what? I have a good point on this. And then like 10 minutes pass and you're like, where are we now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Let me think about that for a while. Okay. Yeah. You know what would be a good point on that? Oh, I should say, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Oh, wait, where are we now? And that's how I think you are thinking during the entire podcast.
Basically. Get out of my head, Charles.
Yeah. How'd you come up with that quick zinger? What if that was a zinger from like 10 ideas ago, but it just happened to land perfectly. But yeah, this year's been pretty fun. It's been a cool little adventure we've taken so far. We've gone to a shitload of art studios, more art studios than I think I've ever been in.
Oh yeah, same here.
Probably in my entire life combined.
yeah, probably.
Met a lot of new people, hung out with some old folks and learned some new details about their life.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's been super cool. I don't know. I was thinking before we did this episode, I'm like, should I ask Sergio what his favorite guest was? But then I don't know if that's offensive to other people.
I mean, yeah, first of all, I don't even know who I would pick yet.
Yeah. Well, maybe I could plant that seed and then 3 years later we'll answer that question. I'm just kidding. Or 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I didn't even think about it for myself. I didn't think like, who was my favorite guest? Or like my top 3 maybe. I don't know. Just to give myself a cushion.
Yeah. I could probably come up with like a top 5.
Yeah.
But yeah. But it's interesting, like a lot of the episodes that are like, 'cause, you know, we both look at the podcast numbers now these days.
Right.
So it's interesting to see which ones do really well compared to how we think they'll do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely people that have, I don't know if it's like that their group will you know what I mean? Like if their fan base or whatever you want to call it, their social media platform, I don't know what it is, but that is super into their opinion or their work or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it is interesting to see that you could have 100,000 followers, whatever, and get less listens than someone that has like 5,000 followers.
Right.
Based off of the hype or the love for the art that 5,000 has.
Right. Exactly.
So it's interesting. I mean, it's not the biggest bump, but still something, and still interesting. For the most part, everyone gets close to the same listens, and there's just like a few people that are killing the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, everybody kind of ends up at a certain like benchmark, I guess. Yeah. And there's only a few that like come out hot out the gate, but a lot of them, yeah, it takes months or so to end up at the same level. There's been a few that have been like somewhat surprising in how well they've done. Not because like it's a thing that I predicted that they wouldn't do that well, but it's more of a thing like, oh, I didn't realize that so many people were interested in this guest in particular over other ones.
I'd never think that because I think all my guests are special. But Sergio does, guys. No big deal. Just know that. Know that I think each and every single one of you is special in God's eyes. Bing. Yeah. It's been super fun. But and now we're closing the doors and never doing another episode again.
We tricked you guys. That was the plan all along.
1 year and done. That's what we always said. But yeah, it should be fun. I know I had like a weird, like I said, I'm a goal setter. I feel like that's what I do. There's some things I don't think we achieved in the first year that I was hoping we did, but we got really close, and then, but now that the year is over, like I like reassess and go like, oh, what goals do I have now for the podcast in my own brain? Because I'm only, I mean, I'll talk to you about it. Like we got drunk the other day and talked about what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, it'll be interesting this next year to see how it goes. I think it'll be a fun, direction.
Yeah. I think we're going to talk a little bit about it without like bumming people out. Or not bumming them out, but ruining the surprise, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's a surprise.
No. Yeah, I don't mind talking about it a little bit. Well, this year for me, as far as like goals was just to get as many ears towards us, and trying to get like guests that I thought were really good for our show. But this next year, I think one of the things I like with booking guests would be cool to focus on is having like an art topic that we want to tackle instead of making it interview based, be more about a topic and then trying to find a guest that fits that that kind of whatever it is to build a good amount of dialogue and kind of maybe even teach us some stuff about whatever, whatever it is. And maybe have it somewhat be debatey sometimes with people with opposing opinions from ours and things like that. And then trying to get, just like art questions that I feel like artists in general might have with each other in more private situations, but having them more like fleshed out through this podcast and see what direction it goes. Yeah. And I think that would be something fun to do and just cool in general. Because after we did this podcast a couple of times, you kind of realize that for the most part, I'm not saying everyone's story is similar, but there's definitely a ton of similarities.
Oh yeah, there's definitely the same tropes that come up every so often. Everybody was into comics as a kid.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely other people that lived crazy lives. I mean, we talked to Matt Ritchie after the podcast, and he was like telling us some shit, and we were like, damn, that is intense. Man.
Right, yeah.
I'm not saying everyone lived the same life, but there's definitely seems like these similarities that bring artists to like this art path.
Yeah, at least in the vein that we're working in.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if it would be different for other, I guess, genres of fine art.
Better not be,
Yeah.
or else. Never heard of a knuckle sandwich, because we got 2 of them or 4 of them.
4 of them. Yeah. 2 larger than others, but
yeah.
2
footlongs and 2 little
sliders.
Sliders. Crust cut off.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, if anyone has any topics that they would find interesting for us to talk about, we're all open ears about that.
Yeah, for sure.
For right now, and even guess
we'll probably need to solicit it more now that we're kind of going to try and go in a slightly different direction. Be like, hey, what do you guys feel like is worth talking about?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. And I think if they have any guest suggestions, that'd be also awesome. Just like add us or something on Instagram or do whatever you want to do to let us know.
Right.
I think that'll also be kind of helpful. I know people always talk about how we never talk about art, which I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy talking about like things that might be more opinion driven in the art world. What's right and wrong, or what's good and bad, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And trying to nail down what the logic is behind everyone's thinking a certain way. So yeah, I mean, I remember we did Hiroshi for an episode, and he would be so fun to come back and talk to. Like, just pick one topic and try to like dive deep into that, because he's so opinionated. It would be perfect. And what's it called? Bagger would be another guy who could probably talk about one topic in art for hours or whatever. So
and then every time we have Jason Avery on, it kind of ends up that kind of episode too.
Me and Jason Avery, just in general, we just like to debate about things.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's tons of people that, Joshua Mays would be great for that kind of structure, and just different people. But yeah, a ton of our past guests, and I'm sure there's other guests that we haven't met that would be perfect for, like even talks between like abstract and representational work, finding a really dope abstract artist that we can get on. Also, I say really dope, so get used to it, people. But I know I reached out to Zott.
Robert Zott.
Robert Zott, yeah. And if he's ever in the area, he said he would do it. I know you reached out to him too, so that would be a cool person to get. And I have someone soon that's half abstract, half representational work. Okay. So he would be cool to talk to at least a little bit about that. But yeah, it'll be interesting figuring out those kind of topics and trying to nail them down. I don't know how consistent we can be, just because, we might have to fill a week and just not have the guest at that time. So
right.
So we'll just do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll ever get away from completely like trying to reach out to new guests and doing how we've been doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So far, because we get a lot out of doing that too. So
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so that's the direction we're going.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah, I think people will be into it.
Yeah, and if you're not, I'll tell you something at the very end of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So stay tuned.
Special message. Special holiday message.
But yeah, other than that, what do you got going on for this last little chunk of 2018?
Trying my hardest to finish up more of the video series that I have going on with the Patreon thing that I've been talking about for the past couple episodes. Because God, doing video just takes up too much time. I realized no, this isn't what I really want to do, but I'm pot committed to this little project I have going on. So
for sure. How's it been working out for you?
It's hard to tell because it goes so slow. Like I put them out. I been trying to put them out every 2 weeks or so. But I think without having a lot of momentum behind them, it's tough
For sure.
to get anything out. So, I mean, I think it helps keep the patrons I already have kind of happy. But I don't know. It's just hard to grow Patreon in general these days.
For sure.
So it hasn't really brought in a lot of newcomers yet, but I haven't really promoted it as well as I could have either.
That's a good move to like not promote it well.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's like everything I do outside of the art world for the art world, you know, like this podcast or social medias or whatever, it all comes down to like juice and squeezing it and how much of that juice I'm getting, you know? So if it's something I don't enjoy doing and it doesn't seem like it's paying dividends, it's like I don't need to do this shit. Like I enjoy the art. I enjoy that part. I enjoy sharing my art. But if it seems like I'm not getting anything out of it, if the juice isn't worth that squeeze, then I'm not going to keep squeezing whatever citrus fruit you want to place into that
right.
metaphor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's a tough thing too. If you feel like you get somehow pigeonholed into doing this project that you don't enjoy, I don't know. So are you planning on at some point backing away from that?
Yeah, that was sort of the learning experience of like, doing video. If I'm going to do video, I'm going to try and outsource as much of like the editing part of it that I can. But instead of doing it that way, like I'm planning on doing like a online like teaching thing. And so I'd rather it be that sort of thing and do it a different way than how I'm doing with the just like video step-by-step thing.
Right.
So, yeah, seeing how much work this was and how little I'm getting out of it, I was expecting to do better. Then that means like, okay, just try something else then. Tweak it till it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always say tweak it till you meek it.
Yeah.
I think that's that saying, right?
Exactly.
Gosh. Sorry. First bad joke.
Man,
one down. So many more to go.
Gotta end the year with a bang.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I like that painting you've been working on the live feed thingy.
Oh, the little Art Nouveau-ish one?
Yeah, it feels a little mooky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I like
anytime you put a circle around a girl's head, it comes Mooka-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to post that one up pretty soon. That was the one that I was working on for Nucleus Portland for the group show coming up in February. So
nice. That sounds happy like
What's that?
That's a good gallery.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, that was like the first part of a thing I want to do with it. Talked about it a long time ago on one of our solo episodes where I wanted to try and create a series that lends itself more to being, I guess, designish and lends itself more to being used as like merchandise sort of thing. So I'm going to do that, do different iterations of it in different mediums and try and see how I can adapt it to other things. So yeah.
Like what?
Stickers coming soon.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like having merch for our show is definitely something that we've talked about.
Oh, for Waiting to Dry?
Yeah.
Coming 2057.
Yeah. It's funny because we always get swag from our guests. Well, not always, but yeah, definitely we get like stickers. We're like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
too bad we don't have anything to do.
My sketchbook is getting packed with stickers from guests.
Oh yeah, you just stick them in your sketchbook.
Yeah,
nice. That's a good idea.
I don't know where else I would put them.
Oh, I have them like on my drawing pad and stuff. You know?
Oh, I do it on my sketchbook because I know I'll keep that as long as anything probably I have.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I've put stickers on other things before, like computers, like the tower or whatever. But then the tower goes bad, and then you're like, all right, well, there goes those stickers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my way of keeping it forever in my heart.
Yes.
You know, it's beautiful.
Exactly.
But yeah, I know we should figure out something.
Mm-hmm.
At least maybe a photo of us back to back doing the Charlie Angels pose.
Yeah, exactly.
At least something, something cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know what else we could do.
Give it to them in a little frame they can set up on their desk.
But whatever. I mean, I don't know how much merch we'd actually sell, but maybe a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it was that, I know you did a meme or something recently where it showed like people that like
the Venn diagram thing.
Want to print, people that buy a print. Or something like that. And
yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, yep, that's pretty spot on. Everyone's like, oh, make prints, and then you're like, all right, prints are released, and I'm like, can't wait till you guys buy them. I put money into this because you fuckers said something.
Right.
I mean, I haven't put out many prints. I think I've done it once.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't even know you'd done it once.
I actually don't know if I've done it once.
That's funny.
But I think I've thought about it. Maybe it was, I don't know how I know this information, but I know I've seen that analogy play out where it's like print, and then, well, I know it's a slow grind. I know that. Like MJ has prints, and people always say they want prints, I think, and then she sells like 1 or 2 every once in a while. Mm. But yeah, we just got a printer, so up and running. So now we're like popping them out soon.
Nice.
Maybe.
You guys finally have it up and running. I know you had the printer for a while.
Yeah, and I bought it for MJ for her birthday, and which was in May. And I'm like, any day now. And she's had it in that box, and then she came the Art Savoir group. Oh, sure. Or whatever.
Savoir Faire?
Savoir Faire, yeah. They came by and like videotaped her for something, and she was like trying to get her studio looking nice, and she was like, I should probably unbox this and figure it out. So
it wasn't even unboxed yet.
No. So yeah, so we got that up and running, so I'm pretty stoked about that. So I think I might do a small run of prints soon, maybe.
Cool.
Still trying to figure that out.
Just see how it goes.
Yeah, why not? It's so cheap now that the machine is up and running. It's like, well, we pay for paper now. Yeah. And then the ink when it runs out. But yeah, still way cheaper than paying for a run of 10 prints.
Yeah.
Or 100 prints and being like,
oh yeah, that's expensive.
Now I'm in the hole this much. Hopefully I can make some of that back.
Right, exactly.
So now that's not really a worry, I guess, for us. So we'll see how that pays off. But yeah, I don't know where we're going with this.
Just to say that we'll never stop making fun of MJ on this podcast.
Dude, you don't even know. She went deep into the matrix of Pokemon Go. This last I don't know, I think last week she found the Fight Club version of Pokemon Go.
Really?
It's like this long process where she had to like log into one website and link up to another website.
Jesus.
And then once she's in that website, she has to be accepted into the group. And then once the group accepts her, then she has to meet up with the group.
What?
And then one of the people has to allow her to talk in the chat room.
Wow.
And it's all so they can meet up and fight these super Pokemon. It's so nerdy. God.
Somebody's listening like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. But I mean, even MJ admitted, like when she told me about it, she said she did the nerdiest, the day she did it, she was like, I just did the nerdiest thing I've ever done. And she explained it to me, and I'm like, yep, as nerdy as it gets. And then her sister was like, the next step is her LARPing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening. I could see that being the next natural step for her in her,
Oh my god.
her journey to being a huge nerd. But yeah.
Her Instagram's gonna turn into a Pokemon Go Instagram pretty soon.
Yeah, but she's also like a huge Harry Potter fan. So
right.
we're guessing that if she gets into LARPing, it's probably going to be her. We're going to walk by a park and see her with a wand, just like saying
Patronus.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then we're like, MJ, and she's going to be like, that is not my name. My name was Deebly Dop. Something
you will address me as such. That's hilarious. Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know how I ended here.
Cool.
Cool. But yeah. So that's that. This is one of those dead end moments. But yeah. How growing up in? Oh, I think we talked about this before. Holidays for you? Was that a big thing?
Growing up, it was a lot more. Before everybody got their own families to celebrate with. But there was always like we would go to one. Either they'd come to our house or we'd go to our cousin's house and be 3 or 4 families together.
For sure.
Yeah. Is that pretty much the same for you?
No, not really. I mean, I have like one family that we would meet up for Thanksgiving. Not really. I don't think we did for Christmas much. But yeah, Thanksgiving, and we would like go play soccer.
Yeah.
At the park and things like that, and eat food.
On Christmas?
Yeah. No, I think on
Thanksgiving. Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
But that was something we talked about once on our ride to one of our podcasts. That or at least how you feel about Christmas, like compared to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Christmas fan, but I mean, I've talked about it before. I grew up in a not so wealthy home,
right?
So we didn't really celebrate Christmas. So to me, it's like a very awkward thing now that I'm older.
Yeah.
When I get gifts, I don't understand. Like MJ and her sister, they are like they get the Oscar for being so happy to get socks, and I'm not that. I'm the opposite. It's like you give me anything, and I'm like, cool, thank you. I don't know what to do. Like
right.
it's just like, oh, thank you so much. Oh, great, cool. And I'm not that happy about getting whatever I'm getting because I'm an adult now and I have money. I can buy whatever they're giving me.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know how to react to that, but it's whatever. Maybe if I had kids or something, I would understand. Like some magic, I could be able to like buy my kid something and see the like happiness or whatever in their eyes.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have that, so I don't really care.
Right, yeah. I don't think Greg is gonna jump for joy when you give her anything.
No, we give Mello gifts sometimes, but he only cares about ice cream. So that's the one time I probably feel what parents feel when giving gifts, is seeing the glee in his eye from eating ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. But like for MJ and her family, it's not even an act, or you think it is? Or
no, I don't think it's an act. I think what happened was, as a kid, they got a bunch of gifts, and Christmas has this like built-in nostalgia and like joy or whatever from that. So I think when Christmas comes along, this like inner child comes out of them, and they just are so happy to get the most ridiculous things. It's like that. Those are socks. Like
right.
They're not any. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
But I think they have this built-in, memory of what Christmas is and happiness attached to that and good feelings and all that stuff. So that like enhances their gift receiving reaction, which is unfair to us who haven't had that, because then we look like assholes. So,
yeah.
So how dare you guys have a good childhood? How dare you? All of you, not just MJ. I'm talking to all of you out there. All you good gift receivers.
Yeah, I had a decent childhood, but I'm bad at showing emotions just in general. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're probably a horrible gift receiver as well.
probably.
But yeah, do you ever get do you get art supplies as a gift?
Not in many years.
They used to always annoy me because they're like, cool, thanks for the Crayola color pencils.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah. I think that was the last like real substantial art gift I got.
Yeah.
Like cheap color pencils.
It's always like, oh, you do art, right? You go and you're like, thank you for this. You don't know me.
Right, exactly.
But yeah. That was always I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got very little to talk about when it comes to Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys don't usually travel or anything like that for holidays?
I might go see family this year, just because I'm kind of in a little bubble out here in Santa Rosa.
Right.
Not too far from my family, but like the
far enough,
2 hour difference just makes it hard to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go make a trek down and go say hi to them.
That's
all
cool.
my like nephews. I feel like every time I go down, there's another nephew.
I
don't even know who it belongs to or whatever. Tongans pop out babies. Let me just tell you that. I honestly have no clue how many nephews I have. And nieces. It is too many to count.
Damn.
Or it just is like I also don't see them that often. So nowadays, so it's like whose baby is that?
Right.
Which one is that? Great. Neighbor's riding his little motorcycle.
That probably picked up on the mic.
Yeah. Fucking hell. I hate my neighbors. But yeah, whatever. I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. I'm sorry. I apologize to the listeners. Let's get back to art. But yeah, that piece you're working on is cool. Those like big blocked out colors like on near her ear or whatever.
Oh, right.
Are you keeping it that way?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty much finished. Like,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope he doesn't mess that up by trying to do something in there. Looks good right now.
Yeah.
I really like that. It's like some abstract shapes or something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, they're just very simple shapes that I just kind of built in Photoshop, just like through circles on things and kind of cut into them and moved them around. Like, oh, this ends up looking Art Nouveau-ish, even though it wasn't even like my original intention to do it or to make it look that way.
For sure.
But then once it happened, I just steered right into it.
That's cool.
Just made it into it. And yeah, I'm just going to do different color versions of it as well. See what other moods I can make out of it.
When you do that, where you edit in Photoshop and you kind of block it, so are you pretty much copying those blocked out shapes onto your painting, or does it kind of just give you an idea like, oh, I could put some shapes here?
For that one, I tried to copy as closely as I could to it, because I spent so long just on trying to get the shapes to a reasonable amount of satisfaction in the reference. So I figured when I got there, why change it if I'm happy enough with it?
That's so interesting. It reminds me because, like for me, when I did graffiti, if I was doing anything like fancy or whatever, a lot of the work goes in. A lot of your work is done before you ever get to the wall. So like you're always like sketching things out, and trying to like get like remember these letters and how just like almost like remembering the letter structure you're building. So you do it like repetition, and so when you get to the wall, it's kind of not necessarily like anything creative. You're just kind of executing what you planned before you got there. And that kind of sounds similar to what you're talking about. Like, yeah, like you're doing all your planning, but I don't know. It doesn't sound that fun to me.
Well, it's basically taking the place of my sketchbook doing that way. It's just faster for me to do it that way.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't know, it's probably not fun for everybody to do it that way. It's just easier for me.
Yeah, you're looking at one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. I mean, kind of, whatever.
Hey, it's just my process of doing it.
No, it's not anymore. Not after today.
Breaking my computer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you ever want to like pull away? At least, does like coming up with anything do you ever come up with stuff on the fly in your paintings?
You mean like start like from a blank canvas and make something?
No, like, because for my process, there's always like some planned out parts, and then there's always like a part to my painting where I just kind of mess around and see what I come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And that part is kind of becoming more and more. It's playing a bigger part in my process now, where I have very little, like, those like two paintings I sent to a Ben gallery. It's almost like I had the two images I was going to work with, and then I had like two concepts, and I wanted to just keep playing around to try to pull that concept out while I was making the painting and just build off of that idea and seeing, oh, like if I did this, it might like enhance what I'm trying to say. But it was all, while I was creating the painting. There was no like, I think I had like one really quick doodle, like after I put in the figure and had some ideas of what I might want to do for the one called Tarnished. I think I did a quick like doodle to see how big I should make like the little house to just it. So I just did like a quick like a drawing of her and then see where like the placement of the house. But that was it as far as, and that was even during the painting. It wasn't like pre-painting. It was on the spot when I had the figure in and then the orange already in. I was like, all right, where do I want this thing to sit? But yeah, but I really enjoyed that part. And I'm kind of doing that now with the painting I'm working on, like the hands, that hands.
Oh, sure.
Like, I'm doing that now where I drew out the hands and I had like a couple ideas, but everything is like just being figured out as I'm going. And it's super fun to me.
Yeah, I've been doing that with this one that I've been working on of the Fetish of Form series, the Orgies in the Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there was one there's a few that I've done that I've basically considered done just because I don't feel like I'm working on them anymore. I feel like they've gone to a point where I don't have anything that I want to add or change to it. But there's one in particular that I've just been messing with over and over again, changing things completely. So it got to a point where it was getting close to what the original reference looked like. And then I hadn't touched it in months and decided to throw a bunch of like really light, almost white shapes over the entire thing just to see what would happen. And then I liked it enough, but it wasn't quite satisfying enough. And so then I just, for the hell of it, took like my the extra paint on my palette when I was working on a different painting and threw that onto the piece and messed with that around and moved it everywhere and tried to make a design out of that. And I was like, I don't like that either. So then I sanded that down and then threw a bunch of dark color back over it. And the reason I've been doing it is just to see like what happens if I do it this way. Like,
right.
Because I'm so used to not or being so by the book and using a reference for it. So departing completely away from the reference and just working with shapes and texture is so different for me. I mean, it's super fun. Like I totally get why people like to do that. And that's why it'd be fun to have some abstract artists on the show to talk about that.
For sure.
But that's kind of like my first time in a really long time that I've just broken away from just doing anything representational and straight from the reference.
Right.
Because even when I was doing the the other paintings from that same series, I was still sticking pretty close to what I saw in the reference. And I was like, oh, well, I'm just doing the same thing I've been doing, just the outcome is different, but the process is almost the same.
Right.
So I wanted to break out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. You're such a rule breaker now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it kind of makes sense just because that's how I am naturally. Like, I always have to break a couple rules.
Right, yeah.
So I have to, like, not be controlled a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, your personality probably lends itself to more being in control of what you're doing and maybe more fearful of getting out of that or more nervous or something. I don't know.
It's more like I'm somebody who thrives on being like having a direction, like people, like if giving somebody's giving me a set of parameters, whether it's myself or somebody else, and sticking to that. Right. And so it's a lot easier for me to just do things that way, where working on the reference and doing everything in the reference, by the time I get to the easel, it's like, okay, there's your task. Go do it now.
Right. But see, like when I'm working on, like, say the tarnished piece, right? I do have a clear direction I'm going. I just don't know how I'm going to get there. So it's not like...
Yeah, I like to know exactly how to get there.
Right. Yeah. Huh. And if you don't, does that bring in, like, does that give you an anxiety or something?
I don't know if it's anxiety, if I could even say that.
You can't.
I know.
But nice try.
I could try. I don't know what it is. It's just more that I'm more comfortable, I guess, doing it that way. But I don't know if it makes me uncomfortable not to. It's just more of a thing where I'm less satisfied usually with the end result when I don't know when I don't have like a from A to B way to go, or when B is so unknown, then I just lose direction.
Right. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because for me personally, like, for the most part, I think even though I don't draw it out, I have like an idea of what I'm planning on doing. And then there's always like little moments where I want to like try something out. And sometimes that doesn't mean that doesn't work out. So I have to wipe everything off or whatever that I just did. But the times it works out is usually the times I'm the most stoked about my painting. I'm like, oh, that fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's probably just the dopamine I'm chasing now.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to say I'm an addict.
Painting is your drug.
But yeah, whatever. Yeah.
What was I going to say? I lost what I was going to say too. This rarely happens where we're both like, we both forgot what we were going to say.
So I know you wanted to bring up a conversation based on pricing. I don't know if you want to do that now.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody who listens to this was following me on Facebook,
come at me, bro.
It came because I was listening to a recent episode of Harsh Truth, and on there, somebody asked the host of that podcast something about like how he goes about pricing or how he gets to the prices that he uses, and he talked about other things in there, but the thing that stood out to me was when he said, if you're selling your work online, don't put your prices on your website, because in the fine art world, it's looked at as kind of tacky. And I was like, I don't know why people still feel that way and why he feels that way. Hopefully he'll answer my question when I actually did send him an email. Like, what do you mean by that exactly? But I put that question on my Facebook, and there were like hundreds of comments by the time I by the time that thread died down.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, people were pretty in agreement about they wanted to see their work or see the prices on the work, both from a artist standpoint and a collector standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I thought was interesting was when a lot of people, probably like 4 or 5 people were like, when I see something listed on a website and without the price, but it's for sale, I just assume that I can't afford it because there's a reason you didn't put the price on, because didn't want to look scary by putting the actual price tag on it.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a few people who agreed with not putting the prices on the website, and they had their reasons. And for one of them, he said that his prices are flexible.
Mm-hmm.
He negotiates every price, and I know him, and I know his prices are usually super cheap for what they are. And he just, when somebody reaches out to him or like he makes it so that people reach out to him for the pricing, and then he kind of negotiates a price from there. And he just kind of, he doesn't really work with a lot of galleries either. I think a lot of galleries don't.
Why doesn't he just write on his price on the website and then write OBO after?
Because I think maybe he would.
That was just a bad joke. Sorry.
I didn't know that was a joke. I thought it was,
like Craigslist.
yeah, exactly. OBO.
That stands for or best offer. I hate when people assume I know what the acronym means. I'm like, I don't know what that. Don't text me an acronym like everyone's supposed to understand it. But yeah, I don't know. For me, my opinion is that the reason for not doing something because it's tacky is lame as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. Especially when it comes to art, because I think that in general, like art in like the entirety of like music and everything, the second someone starts saying something is tacky, it becomes tacky. It's like this weird fucking word that just latches on to whatever is perceived as tacky, and then from then on, that thing is tacky, until whatever. So I don't know, saying the reason why. Saying your reasoning is because it's tacky and don't do it because of that is such a fucking lame, like a reason to not do something, in my opinion. If you want to do something for other reasons, like if you have some other reason why you do something that's maybe more legitimate than tacky, then I'm perfectly fine. Depending on the reason, of course, then I might be fine with it. But first of all, I don't give a fuck what the art world, whatever the fuck that means, thinks of things, because, that's like a make-believe world that sometimes says the most ridiculous things. Like that podcast, Art Attacks, they seem like they live in that world, and sometimes the things they say makes my head explode. I mean, other times it doesn't, but yeah, that art world mentality, in quotations, they can just talk themselves off a cliff sometimes. It's like with the stupid shit they think of. So, yeah, posting. It's like, first of all, posting your prices online, right? So, when did posting your prices online even start? Like what? Let's say the oldest 20 years ago. Let's make up that date, right?
Yeah.
So this rule has started 20 years ago in this art world that's been around since, cavemen. Well, not really cavemen, but you know what I mean? It's like, who made up that rule?
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Make-believe rule. Like, what the fuck are you? Don't make up a rule about what's tacky. And I don't know. I don't give a fuck, really. When people say things are tacky, you're like, all right, you're just so cool. You know. It's funny because with like the fashion world, everyone's kind of going into this like 90s, 80s, early or late 80s, early 90s kind of like fashion thing that's like hip and whatever nowadays. And if you wore that same outfit I don't know, 10 years ago, you'd look tacky as fuck.
Right.
It's just make believe shit is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, whatever. You do you for not being tacky, but don't tell other people. Shout out to Harsh Truth. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, your stupid ass Harsh Truth. I don't mean to be talking shit, but it's such a dumb thing to say. Don't tell people to not do something because it's tacky to the art world.
Right.
God, sorry for my rant. It's just lame to me.
Well, I agreed with that too. So that's why I was like, well, maybe there's some, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, like expand on something there. Cause it just seemed like such a thing to throw out. That's like, it's like what you said, who made up that rule? Some gallery that you work with, maybe. Yeah. It's like for their benefit and I don't even understand what that benefit is. Maybe they do try and negotiate their prices, but that just doesn't apply to everybody, especially people who are selling their work online for the most part. It's
weird too. You would assume a gallery would be more into that, just because, I always feel like galleries, they're kind of worried because they take a 50% cut that artists they're not selling the work, they're grabbing it and then giving people discounts. I know for a fact of artists that have said like, oh, don't buy my piece, just wait till the show comes down, and I'll sell it to you like for a discount of 40%,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I've never done that, at least not in my professional career, maybe like early on or something, but I don't even think I've done it then. But yeah, it's you would think that having your prices on your website would at least give them the knowledge of seeing like, oh, he's not dropping his prices 50% after they leave the gallery.
Right.
Or he is. So maybe that determines if I work with him or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know whose logic went into making it lame to... I've never even heard of this, really. This is the first time I've heard of it, but I don't even have a website, so...
Right. Well, that's kind of why I wanted your opinion on it, because you don't even sell your work online. So, like through a quote unquote normal means.
Right, for sure.
So it's like, it would surprise me if you said, yeah, I agree with that. So, but I just want to know, I would like to speak with somebody who, like a gallery owner who does that, just to hear their logic behind it.
Right.
And if they're honest about it.
Like if a gallery posts their art and they don't post prices?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it
happens all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, or some galleries I've noticed don't even say if things are sold. You're like, because I don't really care that much about it, but MJ, she's like a hound with that kind of stuff. She's like, oh, this person sold out their show. Oh, how do you know this stuff? I don't keep track of any of that stuff. Oh, this gallery's selling really good. And she'll let me know if like, oh, it didn't seem like they post when things sell. And I'm like, oh, that's weird that you know that. But maybe I'm just not on the ball when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I look at it more out of curiosity.
Yeah.
More just like,
I think
how's that person doing?
Same for her.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking a little shit.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like strategizing something.
No, not at all, I don't think.
Oh, okay. She just likes the art gossip like I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she just likes to be in the know when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think it probably determines a little bit of who she decides to try to submit artwork to. Maybe a little bit, but I don't even know that really, to be honest. I don't really dive too deep into that. She's only my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That I live with her, see every day and talk to her about everything. So, whatever.
But you're not listening, though, right?
Yeah. It's more like the opposite. Sometimes I'm talking, because I like to talk, and MJ, she just is like so bored with some of the stuff.
Sure.
MJ loves to gossip. My wife loves gossip. If I got juicy news, she wants to hear about it. If I'm like, what do you think about like ethics? Like, do you think this is ethical or whatever? And she'll like tune me out halfway. All right, well, Well, did you hear about this person? She's like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of ethical, I got some gossip. Somebody being unethical.
Exactly. But yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, back to pricing stuff. I don't know. I mean, if I'm going, one of my 2019 goals is to make my website finally.
Yeah.
So when I do that, I'm definitely gonna put my work on up on there for sale, and I'm definitely gonna put prices and
right.
And that's just because that's what me personally, I hate when things aren't priced.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even like go and buy artwork online, but. But yeah, it's just like a pet peeve if it's a struggle. I think the easier, especially online, the easier the better always is like the winning thing. You know, if I can go into a website and figure out how to get through it really easily, then that's the best thing. If I can figure out if I want to buy something and it's very easy to buy, then I'm going to buy it. If it takes too long, then I'm probably not going to buy it. You know, I'm probably not going to stay on your website if it's too hard to like maneuver through. So,
right.
You know, this time where, you know, this era where the internet's a thing, people don't like to have to figure out how to run, you know, work your website. Everyone's got Amazon. Everyone knows to click on things and follow it through, and it's as easy as it gets.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would I make it harder for someone to sell my work? It doesn't make any sense because someone thinks it's tacky. I've never even heard of this, and I'm in the art world. So someone that's buying artwork, if they've heard of it, then they're way more in the know than I am. But I don't think anyone's going to give a fuck if they're trying to buy your work. First of all, who the fuck is buying artwork and going onto a website and then being like, oh, wait, they put their prices up? Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want this painting anymore. Like, no one. That person doesn't exist. And if they do, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk to you. I want to know what's going on in your life.
So, you know, it's like just, I don't know. It seems like some make-believe thing.
Yeah.
This make-believe art world. God, people drive me nuts. I'm such an asshole. It's like someone said something and I went on a fucking full-on rant for I don't know how long about the bullshit of the concept. Talk shit about them and everything.
Well, that's what I do. The master of the setup over here. Thanks
a lot, Sergio. And Sergio just staying. You guys can't see it now, but he's what's the old guy in The Simpsons? Mr. Burns. Yeah, that's his position. He's just like, hey. Everything owned. And then he's probably going to send Harsh Truth a soundbite and be like, did you hear what Josh Lawyer said?
Dear Matt Gondik.
But yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
But there are a lot of people who sell their work online where they're like, DM me for pricing. The only reason I get that is because Instagram, as soon as you add like prices to things, the algorithm knows that and they want to ding you for it. The algorithm
knows that? Is that some conspiracy theory?
Well, it's one that I've heard.
From who? Bigfoot?
From artists that...
Side note, Bigfoot doesn't exist. Let's carry on. There's someone out there who I will not say, but their head just exploded. They're talking at their phone. And I will get a text soon. But whatever.
Like, bro, I heard what you said, bro.
But yeah. Is that a real thing?
What?
The algorithm money thing?
Yeah, I guess they don't like when you... I know Facebook, it's for sure a thing on Facebook, so I just figure it follows suit on Instagram as well.
That's interesting. I don't want to test that theory.
But as soon as you start selling your work.
No, not selling my work, just putting money like in my first comment thingy about my payment. Like, what's up, guys? Just trying to talk to you, keeping it $100. So it's all was good with you guys. The other day I went to the store, bought soda for $4.99. Can you believe that price?
That's an expensive ass soda.
See how bad the Post does.
Just replace all the S's with dollar signs.
See, that's how you do it. You replace all the S's with dollar signs so the algorithm stops paying attention to you. So the algorithm is a god thing.
Hide in plain sight. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. or explain that or use S for dollar signs.
Oh, there you go. S100.
Yeah. But whatever. We're just trying to teach the man a lesson, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Stick it to the man. The algorithm is now the replacement for the man or the government.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, the algorithm knows all.
2019 art rebels.
I remember when we had John Wentz on the podcast. He talked about how the algorithm is bullshit, and I'm just starting to realize that that's because he works for the man. You know what I mean? He's
exactly
Illuminati much, John. Nice try. Can't believe that we fell for that.
Damn, he's on secret missions in Paris right now.
So many things are coming to light.
Yeah. 2019, we'll get to the bottom of it.
Exactly. The truth, it's out there. We'll find it. Play the
X-Files.
Perfect timing.
That's why I need my soundboard.
But yeah, do you have the X-Files song on there?
I do, actually.
Hell yes. That song, fun fact, when I was a kid, that song used to terrify the shit out of me.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I couldn't listen to it. I would have to plug my ears when it would play.
Really?
Yeah. My brothers and my brother, well, I don't know if my sister knew, but my brothers knew, and they would always fuck with me.
That's hilarious.
Did
they record the theme on VHS and just play it when
I
you were
don't remember how they would fuck. I just remember, I think they would try to pull my hands out of my ears so I could hear it.
That's hilarious. So to this day, you haven't watched X-Files?
No, today I don't mind, but there is something weird, oddly creepy about that song, and I don't know who wrote that thing, but they nailed it.
Yeah,
just like weird, creepy tune.
Yeah.
It was like pretty unique of a tune as well.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely one of those earworms.
Yeah. Earworms? Is that a
term? Yeah. For things that get stuck in your head, like little tunes, like jingles and stuff. Call them earworms because they dig into your ear and stay there. Teaching you all these things about the art world.
Yeah. I think I heard, this is way off topic of art, but you know those like earwigs or whatever?
Oh, sure.
You know, the old like
pinchy bugs, like we call them in little kids.
Not maybe.
Okay,
bro. Sure, we all called them that, Sergio.
And roly-polies.
I mean, we call roly-polies, but what do you call them? Something else now?
Pill bugs.
That's what they're called.
That's what they really are. Yeah.
Really? I never learned that. I was still calling them roly-polies till this moment, and I still will. They'll forever be roly-polies. And if I called them pinchy bugs when I was a kid, I would have stuck to that, Sergio. I wouldn't have switched up on it. But I just happen to know they were called earwigs or whatever. I don't even know if they're really called that, but
they are. Yeah.
But I learned that they don't actually do that. That's not like a real thing.
Oh, really?
They don't like go into your ear and then attack your eardrum and make you deaf. That was a made-up thing. I'm like, motherfuckers. I said, you know how many earwigs I killed because of that? So yeah, maybe the thing that someone told me was also a lie. So maybe they do that. So don't hold me to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know it's true anymore.
Consult Wikipedia if you really need to know.
Yeah, if you believe in that site.
Right, exactly.
Hashtag fake news. But yeah, we have this article you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, suck it. Whoever wrote this.
Actually, I had it on my...
Jerry Saltz, 33 Rules of Being an Artist.
Uh-huh.
So this is probably going to be something I'm super into.
Yeah, exactly.
All the listeners who know me know how much I'm into
rules.
Things. Yeah.
Talking in absolutes. That's like your favorite thing.
Yeah. Don't be embarrassed. I could agree with that. Probably.
Well, there's a part in what he talks about in the end of there where it's like, where he said, art doesn't make sense. It doesn't even have to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I always hate when people say that, when art doesn't need to be good.
Yeah, there's already a bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm only reading the titles of all the rules. I'm not even reading. This one says, tell your own story and you will be interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Well, he kind of goes back on that point in the middle of that, of his explanation. Well, maybe not in this one. Yeah, it says, he also says, also remember that just because it's your story, that doesn't mean you're entitled to an audience. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, so what's he even saying there? Like,
yeah, he's like, yeah, I don't know. He's definitely worked out all his ideas. So that's all it's saying.
Yeah.
Art is not about understanding or mastery. All right. That's stupid as fuck.
That's one I didn't like either, but
yeah. Work. I agree with that. Work hard, people. But also know that there's probably some fuck that's not working that hard that will sneak in through the cracks and make you mad.
For sure.
Did I skip one? No.
Step 6 or lesson 6, right? Start with a pencil, which is, I mean, that's all he's saying. All he's saying is like, yeah, just start with
the basics. Pretty much is probably the concept behind that. Is that what it is?
Of what?
Like learn the basics. Learn like the.
Well, not even that. More just like, don't be stuck just by thinking that you need to go to the easel and start like trying to whip out a masterpiece. Just start with making marks if that's what it takes to start. Mm. So, I mean, I agree pretty much with that one.
Yeah, that sounds good. But that's even kind of what I'm saying, right? Like, learn like your basic, like you can start with like a simple pencil and learn like basic things like drawing and things like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know if that's what he went, but that's what I got from just the title because I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
Develop form of practice.
Yeah. Forget being a genius and develop some skills. He says, he gives some examples of
like.
What's that?
I said those kind of like things I don't mind. Like a lot of this sounds like don't like learn the basics, learn like the fundamentals, and then hopefully the rest will come. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly what he's saying. Once again, I'm just reading the titles.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 8 was pretty interesting.
What was that one?
Now redefine skill. For every great artist, there's a different definition of skill. And what he said was, your skill will be whatever it is you're doing differently. I like kind of half agree with that. I think there should be some sort of definition of skill, of however you want to interpret it, though. But I think there's some universal, like there's somewhere we can all agree that if you can draw at a certain level, that takes a certain amount of skill,
right?
And
yeah, I mean, I don't know. He loses me with the whole Pollock scenario. Like, yeah, but Pollock, he couldn't paint realistically, but he became whatever from
right
from splashing paint. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some truth. I agree with some things, some ideas behind that, but then the other part of it is like that kind of grayness within like that huge amount of grayness, which is skill is whatever isn't being done or whatever. That just becomes a little wonky for me. At some point, it just becomes like I don't trust this.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciate people like the actual skill of art. Of having the fundamentals in those things. Like I don't think that necessarily makes a great painting, but it's always at the least it's technically good, which I can appreciate that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think if you show skills in that way, you're at least closer to being great than the people who don't show that skill, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. Or at least I'm more comfortable with saying that technically it's good, And to me, it might be a boring as shit painting. And I might be like, oh, that's not what I'm into, or that's kind of boring to me. But, like technique wise, it's great or whatever. When it comes to like Pollock and splashing paint around, technically it sucks. So, now we're basing it off of what? Like off of some whatever concept is behind it or whatever. And,
exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some parts that he contradicts himself with some of these explanations of the lessons. Because like I think maybe it was in this one too, where he talks about how he went to a gallery and he saw these pictures of clouds on the wall, like photographs of them, and somebody tried to give him this kind of BS explanation to try and give the meaning to it. And he's like, well, no, these are actually just dumb pictures of clouds on in the sky. It doesn't really have to do with anything.
Right.
But then it's like, well, that's kind of how I feel about Pollock.
Yeah. Was it that? Have you seen that comedian special? I think it was, I forget the fuck his name is, but he talks about like this Pollock painting with like a red dot on it. Have you heard that one yet?
No.
And I'm pretty sure it's the guy I'm thinking of where, I don't know his actual name, but it's a Netflix special and he's talking about how there's these two guys or there's all these art people and they're standing in front of this Pollock and there's this red dot in front of like on the Pollock piece and everyone's talking about what this means and how it's about the universe and like all this other stuff. And then I guess Pollock walks up and like the artist guy wasn't there. It's just like a story about Pollock, but Pollock walks up and they're like, what does that red dot mean? He's like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. And it was like over a splash from like another piece he was working on. That just happened. The red just happened to hit that piece and it wasn't supposed to be on it. But everyone looked into it as if it was like genius or something. But he was like, oh no, that's not supposed to be there. And it's like, yeah, exactly. I mean, at least Pollock had the balls to say that's not supposed to be there. But it also kind of proves like the bullshit of, of what that is. Of like, oh, it's genius. It's like, is it? Or are you just talking it up as if it is? It's that whole like the story about the cell phone on the gallery floor or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Those kind of things where you're like, yeah. I mean, and as an artist, if I hear that story, it's like, I mean, it's a little cringy and it sucks because it's like, yeah, that's the fucking world I have to live in where I know, like, just hearing that story, it's like, yeah, I could totally see that happening. It's like, just because it's the bullshit of the whole, like, it's that prices are tacky, if you post them online. It's that whole idea, like, all these make-believe bullshit things are where everyone's trying to prove their genius, like,
right.
Oh, this is next level or whatever. And like, all right. Sure it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what? Because you say so? Because you have what? Knowledge of art history or some shit? Like what qualifies you? I'm not trying to talk shit about art history, but it's like anytime it's like God, need to stop talking shit. It's like the podcast Art Attacks. Like the lady in there, she's like an art historian.
Oh yeah,
but she knows shit about creating artwork. And
yeah,
after listening to a couple episodes, you're like, yeah, you know nothing about creating it. It's kind of funny because what's the guy's name again?
Justin.
Yeah, Justin
Bua.
Yeah, there you go. Bua was what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he'll call her out in a good chunk of it. Like, yeah, let's do, like, just because what she values in art,
right,
as an artist, you're like, that shit's not hard.
Yeah.
And you don't know that because you have no concept of how to create artwork. But then it's like things that are difficult, she doesn't appreciate because she's like, everyone does that. Everyone's been doing that since the beginning of time. It's like, the good people, like the talented artists, have been doing that since the beginning of time. You mean?
Yeah.
And for some reason, that devalues skill.
Yeah.
But it's that whole weird world of whatever. I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about abstract art either, because I like a good chunk of abstract art. It's just when I hear people that get to be the art world and say why things are valuable or not valuable, and I hear what they say, and it's like, ugh, so stupid. Like, it's so stupid what's coming out your mouth, and I don't understand why you're qualified to be the decider in that in that whole world.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like credentials that get passed along from one person to the other.
Right.
It just becomes a thing where, it's weird that you can be qualified to talk about art without ever doing art.
Right. And I think, I mean, I could understand that to a point. Like food critics, can taste good food, right? And tell you if it's delicious or not.
Right.
But there is something I do respect about when I hear a chef talk about someone else's food, because they understand, they can pick up on things that I don't even think food critics can, or understand the difficulty of what it took to, like do whatever, fucking pickle something in a pickling thing that pulls out the sweetness of whatever they're pickling, or the, through the bitterness or whatever. It's like all these like little details that I think chefs respect more than the critic might, and that goes for the art world as well. I think they might be able to understand something based off of their knowledge of art history or whatever that gives them an idea of what is fresh, or whatever, which kind of seems to be the obsession of most of the art world, is what's fresh and new. So they might have an idea of something not being done before, and so that gets to be fresh and new. But it goes back to like the cooking, where you still have to appreciate the tradition of cooking and like the traditional dishes,
right?
Even if you innovate them, they still hold on to those, those the root of tradition that is cooking,
right?
And art is this weird place where we just like to throw tradition out the fucking window, or fine art is, and find the new paint splasher.
Yeah. I wonder with art compared to cooking, like if you really fuck up with a dish, somebody could get sick and die. Like it's undercooked. Whereas there's nothing that in the art world that there's no danger to fucking up.
Of course there is.
Well, you can
knuckle sandwiches.
You cut yourself with your X-Acto knife trying to do collage.
Yeah. But I mean, even in like cooking, it's, getting sick is kind of like that means you're eating at a shitty spot.
Right.
More than like, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's not a perfect analogy, but like, you can find shitty calories.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That is one, as far as like what seems to be the guys that hold the key to the kingdom in this art world, in quotations.
Right.
tradition seems to be a thing that is like thrown to the wayside.
Right.
And for the most part, I think all other art forms don't do that. Even like, you know, like music, you can say it's like there's definitely parts of music that try to push the boundaries and try to do some new shit. You know, a lot of like, I don't know, trance music or something like that.
Right.
But even then, you can probably root that to like, I don't know, Buddhist meditating, saying or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, and even like new forms of music, like rap music isn't that old of a music form, but it's still rooted in like reggae and rhythm and blues and you know, like jazz and all these things.
Right.
So it does come from like, and even then when you listen to like old hip hop heads, they're always like, son, you gotta keep that shit lyrical. You know, it's like even then they are still trying to hold on to some traditions within this like young art form.
Right.
Even though for the most part young people in general are always trying to push away from tradition. I think there's also an importance like holding on to tradition and holding on to those values. I don't know if value is the right word, but like tradition I think is the right word. But whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm dead wrong.
Oh.
And if you guys know anyone who thinks the opposite and wants to talk, I'd love that.
You're sitting across. No. I mean, there are people who, the thing is, they move the like the limit of how far they'll go back is very shallow now. Like they've decided that in the modern art world, like the modern masters are now like Picasso and who was the guy that they just had on Art Attack, or they just talked about on Art Attack, like this.
I stopped listening to that podcast.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't do it anymore.
I don't know. They had like this artist from like the 50s that everybody talks about is like the father of modern art, or at least like the father of conceptual abstraction, like that sort of thing.
Oh,
and
it's like that one guy who always tries to do like the wrong paint stroke. I forget what that guy's name was.
Wrong paint.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but yeah, like at least Buo is like, I don't respect this guy's work at all because it doesn't take any skill. And of course, they argued about it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
and
like,
she knows how much skill it took because she knows whatever her name is.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's nuts.
But my point was that like people, they'll prop that guy up as like the new master or whatever, and like the tradition should like when they look at tradition, they kind of start it from people from that realm, and they kind of just let everything else before that be old and passe and not worth talking about. And yeah, it's weird that people will do that only with visual art.
Yeah.
Like people will go back to music way before the 50s and still consider it genius.
Right, for sure. I mean, yeah. Maybe the move is everyone just embrace the shit out of like Pollock and all those guys, and no one pretend it's stupid as shit. And then they'll be like, this shit is stupid. You know what's really good is really talented people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe we have to do the mind fuck with them.
Right.
We all just pretend Pollock is amazing and super great at what he making paintings.
Yeah. Get my Pollock calendar.
Yeah. Everyone stop saying Pollock sucks. So then the art world in quotations can get angry that we all like him, and then they'll find talented people.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. It's the reverse psychiatry.
Reverse psychiatry.
That's a Parks and Rec joke. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. How long are we?
Hour 30.
Damn. Didn't even break 2 hours yet. Shit. What should we talk about now?
What what do you have coming up?
I don't have much coming up. I mean, I should probably start working on that agenting show
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
May.
I definitely I have my panels that I need to cut down now
Mm,
for that.
yeah, I got to start working on that. That one's going to be, I think, fun because I'm definitely just doing whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, for me too.
So there's even like some like little mini sculptural things I want to do. Not
Oh
like
really?
portrait stuff, but more like I want to I want to build like a bunch of little wooden houses and then make like a huge cluster thing that pops out of the wall
Oh okay.
and see how that
Do
looks.
sort of an installation.
Yeah,
Mm.
but maybe like the size of like an umbrella, like an open
Okay.
umbrella coming out of the wall.
Oh all right. Not
and-
that shape though.
Yeah, like maybe that shape, but
Oh.
not necessarily the handle, just like the top of it.
Oh all right.
Mounted onto a wall. It's like a bunch of houses.
That's cool.
And then I want to do a bunch of boats the same way.
Are they going to be like stylized houses?
No, just kind of like how I have them, like in my paintings. I don't know how stylized that is. They're pretty like, just like an iconic, like if you had to do like a restroom sign for houses, that's how I try to draw my houses.
Yeah.
The most basic little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the idea that I want to work on for the show. That is going to be kind of fun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bunch of little things like that. I'm going to do only, I think, cluster paintings for the show, and then play around with that. They don't usually sell well, but
those are the ones where you kind of almost collage a bunch of small pieces together.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to.
You haven't done one of those in a while, have you?
No, mostly because they don't do well. But this show, I'm just trying to like do what I want to do.
Right.
See what I get out of it. I think I also never thought I like nailed that idea that well. Like there's like a piece or two I was pretty happy with, but for the most part, I always thought it needed work, and I didn't know if I wanted to put that much work into it. So this one is going to be a show where I'm going to put that work into and see what comes out of it. If nothing, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't know. What are you doing for the show? Or do you want to keep it secret? Is it going to be Paint of Roses?
No, it's not actually.
No?
It's going to be completely different.
Nice. Orgies in the Dark?
Partly that.
Nice.
I talked a little bit about it, I think a couple episodes ago, where I wanted to do the thing where I wanted to have like those really abstracted figures in the background, but then kind of paint like really sort of almost silly things in the foreground of them, or just like things that capture my attention. So I've started to collect some little some reference of things for that too, and I've started working on getting some of the reference together for the background part of it.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people receive it, because it'll be so much different than what I've been posting on my social media so far.
Yeah.
But
that'll be cool.
Yeah, I think painters will like it. We'll see how it goes with everyone else.
For sure. Yeah, that's probably a good move. I mean, I don't know. I respect, when it comes to my artwork, the opinion of another artist I always appreciate way more than anyone else. And if they're a talented artist, then it's like, or who I think is a really good artist, then it's like a huge pat on the back. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. That's a good direction.
Yeah,
if artists like it, then who gives a fuck, really?
Yeah, I think if enough artists like your work, everyone else kind of follows suit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or that's the hope, at least. At least I think. I think
the evidence is there for a lot of people.
And I think we talked a lot of shit about the art world, but I think the circle. I think we're talking about like a part of the art world we're not involved in.
Yeah, basically.
We're in a different art world, and I think when it comes to the world we are a part of, it is very much the cream rises to the top.
Right, exactly.
I think a lot of the best artists are artists that are making the most sales and the most money. So, so yeah, I mean, which isn't much sales probably, but you know, enough to live on. But yeah, I think that, and you know, so that's the art world I live in. I'm just over here talking shit about the other world in our multi-universe.
The people who like Pollock and don't put their prices on their website.
Yeah.
It's probably the Venn diagram of that is probably pretty. What do you call it? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what word I'm looking for there. Intersecting.
I'm trying to not help you at all.
Yeah. That Venn diagram intersects a lot. That's all I'm trying to say.
For sure. By the way, the art world that we're talking about, their world is flat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, hell yeah. Perfect timing with that music. But
watch, I bet I'm gonna find my
cord.
The cord, like in my car or something, as soon as I leave.
Nice. What the hell were we talking about? Oh yeah, those pieces. Oh yeah. Well, we're pretty much done with that, right?
Yeah.
And you're working on that piece for what's the gallery in Portland?
Oh, Nucleus?
Nucleus, yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty much done. I sent the picture off to the gallery.
Nice.
Just need to work on
varnish.
Yeah, I'll varnish it before I send it out. All that.
Hell yeah.
And then
that was Emilio's. Hell
yeah. Yeah. Now you guys know. Somebody asked, like, where's that? Or wait, I asked. No, you asked if anybody knows where that's from yet.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. And somebody figured it out.
Did someone?
Yeah.
Who?
One of our people who follow us on Instagram.
Hell yeah. He's our number one listener.
Yeah.
You've won the number one listener award.
Doesn't necessarily mean you won our giveaway.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
We have
this
two
will
paintings.
Probably be the last time we promote it before the next episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you some pieces I'm thinking of.
Nice.
Some older pieces that that are up for running, but see what you think.
Okay.
Which one. And then I'll probably post that soon on my Instagram and probably on the Waiting to Dry one. And then I don't know what piece you're gonna choose.
I'm probably gonna do because I'm planning on doing a bunch of little studies and like little 6x8. So I bet I'm gonna use one of those for
sure.
Yeah,
nice. So brand spanking new.
Brand spanker, yeah.
If you can sneak in a Waiting to Dry somewhere in there, that'd be great. But yeah.
Have you been checking out some of the new reviews we've gotten?
Yeah, I checked out a couple. Yeah, they've all been nice. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone.
Yeah.
Also, I know like there's a little delay usually, right? So like if you write a review, so we're probably gonna have to.
Sometimes it'll take a day or two to show up. Yeah.
So window closes in like a week, I think, or somewhere around there. So after that week, we're gonna probably wait a couple days before we do the drawing.
Right.
Just to give any last little like loading of whatever anyone squeezed in at the end, but yeah, it should be hopefully good. We've gotten it's worked out a bit. I mean, so that's nice.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It definitely helps, I think, with the numbers, like with like building I don't know how it works, but it seems like.
You mean like in a perception sort of way?
Like I don't know how that works. Like maybe in like a looking for art podcast sort of way.
Oh, right. When like
that. But our numbers,
the iTunes algorithm or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely that's part of it.
Yeah. So.
But I also think it helps when people see that there's a podcast that has like 50 or 70 reviews compared to like 20. Because I mean, every podcast definitely has like the people who are mostly reviewing them are people who either really like the show or really hate it.
Right.
So most people are 5 stars. It's just a matter of how many people get 5 or how many people you can get to give you 5 stars, really.
Right.
So
Yeah, and even if you give us like 3 stars or whatever, we'll put your name in that, but your like little piece of paper is gonna be smaller. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
No big deal. I'm just giving you 3/5 of a chance of winning.
Yeah, exactly. And the person who said they like my soundboard, they're getting a huge piece of paper.
There's gonna be cardboard, so you can really feel for it. But yeah, just a heads up in case you're wondering how many stars you should give us. Also, the raffle is going to be based on the paper size of your in the raffle is going to be based on the amount of stars you give us. No pressure, but just a heads up.
If there are any lawyers listening, we're just kidding.
There is at least one lawyer listening, but his name is Gabriel and he's my brother. But so give us 5 stars or else. Knuckle sandwiches.
Knuckle sandwiches.
For everyone.
Nice holiday knuckle sandwich.
Yeah. Any big suggestions for holiday movies people should watch? Box office or at home?
Are there any box office or movies in the theaters right now?
They do all those like holiday drop ones.
Right.
So I know you're a big Jason Momoa fan, mostly because you're attracted to him.
It's my spirit animal, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, my wife, she likes to bring up Jason Momoa a little too much. It's a little too much. I'm like, relax.
She did marry an islander. So
I know.
That makes sense.
But he is the most stunning human being alive. So it's like, okay, don't try to compare me. Just be like, oh, you're both islanders. That's what she does too. She's like, oh, you're both Polynesian. I'm like, we're not the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen the man?
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah. Shout out to Gal Drogo. So yeah, you gonna watch Aquaman or?
I had no plans, but if you need me to, I will.
I don't need you to. Why would I need you to?
I don't know. I was just joking.
Yeah, I don't know what else is gonna.
Do you have a favorite holiday movie?
Do I have a favorite holiday movie?
Or I guess Christmas movie. We'll keep it to that.
I don't think so. Maybe Elf.
Yeah, I'd probably put Elf high up there.
Yeah, if anything, but I can't really think of many holiday movies that I enjoy.
Yeah,
I'm a horrible human being.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I don't even know there's like the old like 90s ones, right? And then the older ones like the Santa Claus. I remember that with Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Horrible movie. Even the other day I saw it, I don't know where I was, but it was playing somewhere. And holy crap, that movie aged horribly.
Oh really? When I was 8, I loved that movie.
Of course you did. And then the Miracle on 31st Street, whatever. Boring.
I've never watched that.
Of course. Not American. This guy Sergio.
How do you feel about A Christmas Story?
I can never remember it.
Really?
I think I watched it when I was a kid. But it was never like a movie that I watched a bunch. So
and I just remember that was just on all the time, so we just piece it together.
Yeah. I know it had like the tongue moment. I remember that, but
I can't remember the last time I actually sat through that whole movie, because like you forget like where those all those scenes are just like skits for me at this point.
Right.
So I didn't even realize that like that thing, the tongue thing, happens like in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I just, it seemed like a movie. If we had like the VHS as a kid, I'd have probably been super stoked on that movie.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's almost like it's like Sandlottie or whatever. Like
right.
Little kids up to no good. Like that was my shit back in the day when I was a kid. But we just never owned that movie. So and we didn't have cable, so
okay.
there was very little I think we had like 6 channels or something, you know, like
Right.
the basic like Fox and ABC and whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just never really watched that movie much as a kid, but it would have. I could see that movie having a whole lot of like nostalgia for me if we owned it, because it's just the kid. I think there was like a BB gun scene or something in
Yeah.
it
Oh,
too,
yeah.
like
The
all that
whole
kind of stuff.
you'll shoot your eye out running gag through it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that seems like a movie I would like, but
Hmm.
I just never watched it, so it's got nothing attached to it for me. And
Okay.
I don't know if it holds up if I watched it now.
It actually holds up surprisingly well because there's a lot of like the dynamic between the parents. You understand now a lot more. So
Yeah, maybe
there's
I
that
should
part
watch
of
it.
it. Yeah,
Sounds good.
it's a good one.
But yeah,
But yeah, probably those two, Elf and A Christmas Story, are my 2 favorite Christmas movies.
nice. Yeah, I like Elf. That's a good one, but you know, who doesn't like Elf?
I know.
Uh,
I was surprised, like the first time I watched it, how much I liked it. I didn't really have like high hopes going into it.
how dare you? That was Will Ferrell
I know.
at his peak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying I was right to doubt it.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm
know.
saying.
I admitted to that.
Admit it again.
I'm sorry. I apologize to you, to Jason Momoa, to Will Ferrell.
Thank you for apologizing to Jason. But yeah, I know he's coming out with another movie. Will Ferrell. I don't know if for holidays, the Sherlock Holmes one or whatever.
Oh yeah,
But
looks
hopefully
all
it's
right.
good.
Mm.
I love Step Brothers. It's one of my favorite comedies. It's so silly. So I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, leave us a review.
Feel free to review that movie on our thing.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
exactly. And also any like conversation that you want us to try to tackle in 2019 that might be, you know, it could be as easy as how stupid is it to think it's tacky that you put your prices on your website.
Exactly.
As simple as that.
Right.
And I will literally rant too long. And if you guys have anyone that has you know, that's an artist that has ideas that are contradicting to mine or Sergio's, feel free to send them our way. Not saying we're going to have them on, but yeah, it's always helpful. We
Yeah.
might.
Definitely.
But yeah, big thanks to all the artists that did our show this year as well.
Absolutely.
And now that we'll
try to
the
have
end,
them on again.
Who was your favorite episode, Sergio?
The very first one.
Was it? was it Bryce?
Yeah. It's just because I got talked about so much.
I was gonna say because you weren't here.
Okay.
Like, my favorite episode's the one I wasn't a part of. But yeah, that we did talk about your good about. Yeah, been fun, super fun. So hopefully 2019 we keep it entertaining, or else you can stop listening to us and we'll die a slow death.
Yeah.
But if not, hopefully we keep talk stuff, fun talk, talk fun stuff. Maybe just lose every ability to be able to talk.
Yeah. Anxiety.
Yeah, maybe we talk better to talk stuff on 2019. I don't know. We don't know. Two stuff and many. But yeah, I think we've hit our time. How are we doing?
11 minutes left.
11 minutes left. What time is it? 1:45.
1:49.
Holy fuck! That was a slow 30 minutes. I thought for sure we nailed it. Well, whatever. I think we could end it here, right? It's the holidays. The holidays definitely we get a slower listening rate. So,
Right.
So how dare you guys choose family over us?
We are your new family.
But yeah, we appreciate everyone listening, everyone writing reviews, all the feedback we've gotten on Instagram and stuff like that.
For sure.
There's been plenty of times people have slid into my DMs and been like, by the way, like, usually they're like, man, Josh, your work is the most amazing work in the world. And I'm like, duh. And then they're like, by the way, I love your show. And that's when I get all teary-eyed. And
Yeah, exactly. Same here. Like, oh my God, you're one of the few listeners.
I know. But yeah, it's been super fun and cool to see the growth.
Definitely.
And it'll be fun to see where we go. But yeah, all feedback always appreciated. If you do it on the iTunes instead of my DMs, it's even more appreciated.
Right? Yeah. Might as well try and get some free art out of it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
But yeah, it would be nice if we could respond back on the iTunes thing.
I know.
That would maybe be more of an incentive, but whatever. Who cares? I don't control it. I mean, Yelp, you can respond to things.
Who can?
You can respond to the reviews. Like, you see it on, like, online. The restaurant, if someone talks shit
Oh,
about the
Yelp.
restaurant,
Oh, I thought.
then they'll respond.
I don't know what I heard you say, but yeah.
Yelp.
Yeah, it sounded like Yelby in my head.
Maybe I said Yelby. It was funny the other day when you were like, "Did you say this?" And I was like, "Did I?" Oh, with Scott Pryor. I said, like, instead of plain air art, I said plain art.
Yeah.
And I was like, did I? And it's like one of those things where it's like, maybe I did, but I'm not going to, like, but I thought I said plain air.
Right.
But it's like, I'm not going to fight it, but I'm going to listen back intently.
And you sure as hell did say plain art.
I know. I sure as hell did. And I was like, okay, they got me there. I was so, like, ready to bring it up on the next episode. I'm like, you motherfuckers, you said I said plain art, and I said plain air art. Damn it. That would have been a good little
zing back.
I mean, I would have been serious, but it would have been fun to... I don't know if we're going to pick up this Latin music in the background, but hopefully we do. And the neighbors bumping some Latin music.
Jeez,
all right,
man.
but yeah.
I can hear it in my headphones for sure. So.
We don't need to hit 2 hours. It's been fun. We really appreciate everything you guys did. Anything else, Sergio?
Just waiting on your magic 2 words.
Oh yeah, and what did I say? I said I was gonna have like a last minute message for, I forget what people I was talking to, but whoever those people are, if they're still listening, this has been Waiting Dry. If you're still listening, fuck off. Chicka chicka chung chicka chicka chung chicka chicka chung chung chicka 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 chung chung.